Okay, we're live. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, depending on where you're joining us from. It's Opinion Sharers, and my name is Paul. Like we regularly do on this program, we talk about topical socio-political issues, either happening in Nigeria or pertaining to Nigerians elsewhere. So today it's another topic, though a very sad one. Um, I saw in the breaking news earlier, in the early hours of today, that the the three MDs from three major refineries of Nigeria they are being sued. In fact, I believe they were arrested. And it's believing that an estimated amount of $3 billion, was carted away by these people. Money that was supposed to have been used to refurbish the where probably I think refurbish is probably the best adjective. The refineries. So and it's sad, but it is what it is. We have to talk about it. And so that's what we're going to be discussing today. And with me is Dr. Bolu Tife from Calgary. He's a passionate Nigerian, an accountant, a ferocious writer. Perhaps one of our guys will still join us, but then if they don't, we are going to do justice to the topic this day. So, Dr. Bolu, good
Yes,
good morning. Right?
yeah, good evening, Nigeria.
Mm,
Good
mm,
morning
mm.
here. Uh, yeah, thank you. I think let me start the first impression. I think there is a little uh, error. The
Okay.
$3 billion were the amount allocated for the refinery turnaround for the maintenance of Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna refinery.
Mm.
I believe that's not the total amount that was stolen. They couldn't have stolen everything.
Okay.
And let us give let us give you some to me
Okay.
some, some flower that they may not have been so insensitive to have stolen everything just like that.
Okay.
So that's what I
I
want.
agree with you.
Uh-huh. So, but what the sad thing is like I don't know. You say it was sad as if it's something that's supposed to be new or something that's supposed to be
Well,
surprising. I don't know what that's your sadness comes from. I think maybe I should interrogate you first before I
yeah.
even begin
Okay.
to interrogate the incidents.
Yeah, I think my sadness stems from the fact um, that this keeps happening. Uh, the fact that it keeps happening, it's a reoccurring situation in Nigeria. It's almost, normal. It's almost like, why are you surprised? That it is Nigeria now. Like it is supposed to be. All right, that's the part that is sad for me, and the fact that I would have to come and share it with the world. This is something dirty about my country, about country that we are all passionate about. So the fact that I would come out and on the World Wide Web share it with the world is the sad part for me. I want to be a bearer of good news stemming from
Okay,
Nigeria. Great things that Nigerians are
that's very
doing.
patriotic of you. The question
But the
is,
fact that
is the world ignorant of this thing? The world that you
yeah,
are.
that's also another sad part of it. That's also another sad part of it. So the fact that the world will look at us and Nigerians, you know, that they're not surprised as well. It's for me, it feels embarrassing. That's the way I
Yeah,
see it
it is
personally.
embarrassing. But
Mm.
they say in Nigeria that if they explain something to you and you understand it, then that something's wrong with you. It is either something's wrong with you that for you to understand anything about Nigeria, or the thing is not well explained. So
Well,
it's sad. Actually, it's, I mean, I share your sentiment. I'm just trying to create some fun
I
out of his
understand.
gross matter. You know,
Mm,
and when I said that, okay, the 3 million they wouldn't have stolen everything. Remember, these are refineries that did not work for decades. We are not talking of something that did not work for 2 or 3 or 4 years. We are
mm-hmm,
talking of refinery that did not work for decades. And this is a place whereby staff are being promoted every year. This is a
mm,
place where we learn that people are sent overseas for training for
mm-hmm,
not producing a drop
mm-hmm.
of
Yeah.
oil. So what did they go to do? Nothing. Of course, they are sent to for shopping. Our people. Even to me,
Mm,
in the past, they had like even when they are giving other people two extra bag, 2 bags, 2 checking, they always give us three because they know we like shopping a lot. So
mm,
it's a sad reality. It is something that is called for sober reflection. Now it is being celebrated in court. In the next 3 months, we will not hear anything again about it. That's even the
mm,
saddest part of it. Are we going to see the
mm,
end of this? Now, there are various captions. Some say it was the group MD that they saw 80 billion in his account. Some reports said it is one of the three MDs. We have the group MD, then
mm-hmm,
the three MDs. So there were like four of
mm,
them. All of them have been arrested. And they said they found 80 billion in one of the accounts of them. Which one? We are not told.
mm.
So we are having conflicting reports. Some say it was a group MD, but from what I read, I think it's one of the MDs that had 80 billion. Uh, and
Can you imagine?
if
80
it is not,
billion in
and
one person's account.
that's what the spend remain now. That is
Like Dangote. Even after Dangote doesn't have
Dangote will
that kind
not
of money in his account.
Dangote will not keep that kind of money. It's highly exposed. It's highly indebted to bank and
It
financial
is, it
institutions.
is,
He can't keep 80 billion in his
it
account
is.
and to be idling. You can't keep that kind of
Mm-hmm,
money in your account unless it is stolen. You can't work for
mm.
money for 80 billion and keep it. Even Elon
And
Musk will
keep
not do
it.
that. You can't keep that money
Yeah.
because this money has to work because you are using other people's money and you are paying interest. So how will you not keep money
Mm,
in savings like that? Even our Nigerian bank can even steal that money. There was somebody who just came. Oh, that's another issue altogether. Um, who
mm,
is having an issue? I think it's with Access Bank or which of the banks that they've cleared all his money. The guy was sending money home, kept his bank in Port Harcourt also. And when this guy knew that this guy does no so much activity, so the bank officials decided to help themselves. So by
he
helping,
cleared his account.
they did clear it. They are just helping him to maintain it, so that the account is not, so that the account is not dormant. But by the time it came, the balance has got to a very ridiculous level. So
Oh,
up
oh God.
up to some week they withdraw like 5 million, like 10 million. You know, maybe they want to do
Mm-hmm.
some weekend. They say, this is a free money here, and yeah. So this is that kind of thing. Nobody who generally work for money is we keep 80 billion in one account.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's several accounts, you won't do it. Business people don't keep money that way. They invest their money because um, when you look at the amount of money Dangote Group is owing various financial institutions, it will not
Mm,
make sense for him to keep 80 billion idling somewhere. For somebody else to come and borrow, when
mm.
he has borrowed money from banks, so it doesn't make sense. But because this money is not something that you work for, it's Allah even say, okay, it is one of them, one of the MDs that has 80 billion, and that is the excess of what he has spent.
That is the remainder.
That's the remainder. Ajesheku nìyẹn. That was what do we call cooperative? Alajesheku. So
Alajesheku.
yeah, so that is the leftover
Mm,
because they kind of though they are well paid, refiners are well paid.
Yeah, I know. I heard that
And
they are well paid,
they are well paid.
but
They are well paid. And many of
but
these
not to
refineries,
the extent of having an excess of over 80 billion in one account.
yeah, this one they are well paid. So what they are being paid can actually finance with their lifestyle. And many of these
Mm-hmm.
people they still have access to illegal bunkering. This is the sad reality of the oil industry. Oil industry is as crude as the crude oil they are mining. Me, I have said it is the crudity of the of the oil industry. I think I
the
wrote an
crudity,
article.
the
Yeah,
crudity of the crude oil.
of the crude oil. I wrote an article like that now. It's on the Medium. I think I posted it on Medium. So when you look at that, the I mean they live larger than life. You know, they are there. Whatever you see in that account will not be legitimate earning. And if you want to transpose, if one has 80 billion, except that one is the most prudent, who is not as reckless as others, we can now say that okay, $80 billion, naira times four. It means like over 400 billion naira. When you exchange that 3 billion, would have been shared among these managing directors. There are also money that goes to the executive directors along the line. Even the small guys, they have a way of getting their
Yeah,
collecting their own too.
of course.
So
So
yeah, that's the thing. It is very sad, but again, I'm always very skeptical. I'm sorry, I'm saying this on international subject. When EFCC is throwing figure, I
you
don't
don't
clap.
run with it.
I don't clap. I don't clap with one hand. Not to talk of clapping with two hands. And why did I say I've you see maybe because of my profession.
Yeah, I
I
guess so.
believe I believe in the authenticity of a figure. And to me, whether you have stolen 1 naira or you have stolen 1,000 naira or you have stolen 1 million naira, it doesn't make difference to me. I know the
Mm.
figure when the figure become among gross, we say you want the cutter,
Mhm.
you alone.
Yeah.
But the fact is like most of the figures that EFCs are trained at, I'm not indicting them, but this is my observation. As such that it becomes difficult to even to prosecute these cases. Because when you
How?
are as okay, for instance, now if you say one person has 80 billion and we say that's a
Mm.
leftover, a
Mm.
managing director, there are four of them now. We have three managing directors and group managing director,
And
making
the
them
group
four.
MD, yeah,
And group MD.
yeah,
Okay, if it's what this 80 billion belong to MD, one of the MD, it means the group MD will have more, most likely.
yeah. Of course,
Let's even say they
at least two to three more.
because we are very hierarchical. It may not be two or let's even that's even exaggeration. Now, if you convert that 3 billion to naira, depending on when it was released, it's not as if they will not even spend anything at all on what was expected to be done. They will still
Mhm.
spend some
Yeah.
money. Even
Mm.
the Ministry of Finance are releasing the money, or the central bank that is receiving the money, they will get their own cut from that 3 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So
Of
when you
course.
look at all this, when you tie all these figures together, it will not make much sense that one half of all this because if the managing director is getting 80 billion, we have executive directors for each of the refinery. You may have close to four executive directors, and there's
Mm-hmm.
no how on earth
And you
that
have different levels of managers.
they even say they don't they compensate those from by overseas training and all that. Let's even assume. But when you
Okay.
talk about there is no how an MD will take 80 billion and the executive directors will be clapping for him.
Yeah,
No,
it's not possible.
it's not possible. Then
They would know.
they will know. Then you see the again my usual proverb, animal kinule. The guy that is processing the accountant, the finance guy
The accountant?
that are processing
Yeah.
this thing, you don't expect them to just say, I mean, Your
No.
Majesty, how much should I bring? So they will.
Mm.
So when you look at all this and this figure, they don't make sense to me. When you tie all this figure together, it is going to even be maybe more double than the money that we talk is missing. It's just like it's okay.
Mm.
Um, An organization, you are accusing somebody stole. Some people have even used it as a defense that the money you are saying that I stole is more than the total budget allocation
The total budget.
for the organization. And we see pay salary,
Mm.
we see this. So it becomes very difficult to prosecute. And I don't know whether it's their lawyer that is advising them this or all this, because this thing doesn't make sense to me. So I am not carried away by the figure 80 billion.
Or they
I'm
just
not.
want to attract us, attract the
They,
media.
they I think to me it's more like play to the gallery. If you ask me, that look,
Mm.
why are you calling big figure for us so that we can shout?
Mm.
And now after 1 or 2 years, we will not hear anything again anyway. So
Yep.
what I wish what is the reason I shout? So tell us exactly what you have found out. Even if it is 50 million that the guy can no longer account for outside his salary, it is still stealing.
Of course.
Because you call this billion something as if it is just some kind of those
Yeah.
maybe as
So
if
I mean,
some wasobia. Everybody is going
they,
go to waso,
they
and you are saying somebody
they
is
forget
catching 8 billion. No, it
80
doesn't make
billion.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I'm not
well,
saying
I
they
don't
are
know.
lying, but that figure for me, I would rather take it with a pinch of salt because I have these figures, they don't make sense to me. They are
Mm.
exaggerated, but I don't have proof. And neither do they have proof because they have never shown us proof. And that is why you see most of these cases are not successfully prosecuted
Mm.
because it's become a
Okay. So
defense to
let's
me.
look at
Okay.
yeah, let's look at other aspect of the discussion because I don't want us to sound like we are making a case for their lawyer. So let's look at the fact that Nigerian refinery has been there for years. I have been hearing Nigerian refinery will work. They are working on it and this and this since I was a little boy. All right, and when you look at how much they probably have spent on that organization, do you think it is, it's more like a black hole or just a cash cow for some people, because you see anybody that, I mean, an average Nigerian wants to work in NMPC because we hear that a lot of money, is being paid out or exchanges hands. So what do you think about it? Is it not time that Nigeria probably even sell off the Nigerian NNPC, even because now that they've said they privatize it, that Nigeria still hold a larger share, it's still not making sense. Right now they say it's working, but we don't know at what capacity. And then these people were sacked. If they had not been sacked, we wouldn't know that they stole, you know and
Well,
how much of this money can even be recovered, if any?
the truth is that you can't say you don't know that they stole. We know. Stealing is no longer a hidden thing in Nigeria now. There is no
Yeah,
how.
but but
There is
but
no
there are
how
times.
for 20 years or more that they'll be
Hmm,
pumping money into a refinery and
yes,
nothing is
and it's
coming
not
out. And
working.
it's not working. You will now say you don't know that they are stealing. What do you mean that you don't?
Yeah.
What do you mean by you don't know? No, that doesn't make sense to me. So the it is all the name you call it. It's a black hole. It's everything. You will be surprised that they are even recruiting staff into this refinery year in year out.
Mm-hmm.
People are being
Yet it's not
promoted.
working.
People
Yeah.
are being promoted. People are being sent on training locally and overseas, and yet they are not producing a crude, not even a liter of crude oil for all these years. Then these people are the same people that will now import. They will import, they will exaggerate the import too because they want to collect subsidies. It's like
Mm-hmm.
we this is a kind of thing that is like we take delight in punishing ourselves, in punishing our people. If you are privileged, if you are a privileged Nigerian, it is like it's your joy to see others who are not privileged to suffer.
Yeah.
Because what
I
is
think
the
it's
fiduciary of somebody? You know that this is the mainstay of the economy. You would rather want to import. You are doing product swap. And I've said this and I'm saying it again. I honestly, with all sense of patriotism, I don't regard Nigeria as an oil producing country. We own the oil, we don't produce nothing. We don't know how much we produce every day. There is nothing, there is no transparency in that industry at all. It's everything about it is crude. Crude. Not the less, the more you see, the less you, the more you look, the
the
less
more
you
you
see.
look, the less you see.
You don't know. Nigerian government cannot tell us that they know how much of crude oil is being produced every day. They don't have that figure. NNPC that's supposed to be supervising the joint venture, they don't have that figure. They are not even interested in that figure. The regulatory bodies are not interested in that figure. They rather want settlement. You get paid. You get, I mean, so I don't know. It is sad.
Okay,
This thing
now you
cannot
come
work.
back to my point. Yeah, it is sad.
Yeah, it is sad because when we are at it, now that got started, even with little delay here and there, and started running.
Yeah.
And now they started making noise also. They were not even ashamed. And we have these issues, we are selling naira, we are not selling. And they will issue one bogus press statement, blah, 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 between them and Dangote. They should be ashamed of themselves.
I think it was actually a competition between them and Dangote that got those guys fired. You know,
Before
because
now, many of us have asked, what is it that they cannot touch these guys? That the group MD was them for like more than 8 years. Why are they untouchable? Are they giving returns?
probably they have too much money and they can probably
They give
buy anybody
returns.
who might.
Maybe these guys now, the thing they see now is to go and declare themselves, say they want to join politics.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah, if somebody has 80 billion naira in
yes,
their account,
you say I
they
can
can
give you.
literally say they want to vie for to be
Maybe I
governor
give
in any
you.
state
No,
in
they won't.
Nigeria.
They will not want to contest. They can say, look, we are donating 30 billion for presidential
Eh,
campaign. And they will
and
say,
then,
go and see no more now.
of course, he can say, I want to be minister. That person will come and become minister of petroleum.
They may not, no, since they have blown the case that they won't be minister. They won't want to appoint you as minister because people will make noise. But now
suppose that
where
this
that
didn't
is
come out.
possible now is like they are not disclosing which of them has 80 billion. We don't know. They're leaving us to guess out of those 4. But my own theory is that if one has 80 billion, maybe others may not have less than that. Or may have more.
Or something close at least.
Or maybe it's the most careless of them. Maybe others have their own money in Swiss bank, in Switzerland. But then I don't believe that figure. I'm sorry. I'm skeptical. Okay, let me say I don't believe. I'm skeptical.
Because it's probably the accountant in you. That's why. So
because if the guy said no matter how unwise he is, we know better that look. You can't keep 80 billion account. There are people who have access to this. The account officers in the bank have access to it. Unless you are in connivance with the bank managing director. Because if I have 80 billion, I won't deal with account officer. I will deal with the MD.
Definitely not.
The MD
but that does not mean that
the MD will come and look for me. We are talking about 80 billion naira now. The MD of that bank.
Everybody will be
will come and look for me.
Everybody in the banking sector in Nigeria will be looking for you now.
So I can even say I don't want to deal with the ordinary executive director. At that level, I can call executive director ordinary. We are talking of 80 billion.
Yeah.
No,
Mm-hmm.
no, no, it doesn't make much sense. I will, though I mean my job is not to indict the EFCC. How they get their figure? Maybe they should let us know that
Well,
figure get
I'm
as it be to
thinking
me.
I'm thinking this, just like you said earlier, it's probably looking at the amount of money that has gone to the organization between a period of time, maybe during when these guys have been in office before they were removed, you
Hey,
know.
you are not supposed to
And
make up the figures because when we talk like I was trying to explain earlier on. Even when you talk about this corruption, there are chains, there are levels. This thing drop brand new. It's not as if a case somebody just come and pack everything and others are looking at him. No, it drops down. There are processes. It is not a case they bring this one and say, "Okay, go and put it in the MD wardrobe and they can pick anything there." There are processes, there are documentations. Most of this can actually be traced if they want to.
yeah, of course, such money cannot go without tracing. But last week, me and Timileyin were questioning how Ponzi schemes actually happen in Nigeria. That those money would, you know, how do they get out? Do they eventually get out of Nigeria, or are they spent by Nigerians in Nigeria or foreigners in Nigeria? You know, because many of these Ponzi schemes that we've seen in the years past is that they have some form of foreign influence, you know, or foreign backing. The last one, some people are actually saying maybe they are perpetrated by Nigerians, mostly based in the UK. Okay, but with the kind of banking system that we have in Nigeria right now, it is almost impossible for you to move a huge amount of money out of Nigerian banking system without the consent or the no of the central bank. So how do such money move around undetected?
Well, you want me to put on my fraud examiner cap now? You see, that's what we call laying and washing in fraud. You see, most of the businesses that are established, people establish business to put this illegal money and bring it out as a legitimate money. Let's take for instance, you have an hotel business. I'm not here to teach people fraud though. I'm just saying that sometimes this could happen that people claim they import things without importing anything, and you bid for, from them you get your foreign exchange the same way people do round tripping. For instance, if let's take one of the big hotels now ask you to supply them a truckload of Coca-Cola, right?
Mm,
And you know that that truckload is about 400 crates or whatever. In open market, let's say it's sold for like 500,000 naira. We are just using figure. And somebody give you an appeal to supply it for 3 million. That's like times 6, right? Of the normal price.
mm,
But you also know that when you buy a bottle of Coke in Sheraton, it's maybe it could be 1,000, right? Against maybe the 100
mm,
naira on the streets, right? So there's a
mm,
justification for that. That is laying and watching. You are laying that money. So the guy supply you the one trailer, one truck. You issue him an appeal for 3 million. Open market, the guy know that it's going to buy this for maybe for even for you may buy it at the discounted rate. Maybe you bought it for 450,000, or let's say you bought it for 500,000. I supply you. You issue the expo says that his supply at 3 million. You pay him is 3 million, right? And you can say, why are you paying 3 million for something that is 500? You say, look, what? I am selling this here at 1,000. That product of 3 million, I can generate 7 million from it, or I can generate 5 million from it. I'm still making a profit of 40%, which is not bad. So now something of 500 in the open market is being sold for 5 million in Eyebrow Hotel. So what do you think happened to the gap between 500 and 7 million? A lot of game is played around that. So this money comes, goes, goes. I shouldn't say more than that. That's because I'm not supposed to be teaching fraud. Yeah, back to the question now. So this money can be in Nigeria, some can be outside Nigeria by way of importing. You are importing something. You did not even what people are importing can be inflated from the source. You can get an invoice for $3 million for a product that is just maybe $750,000. And you present your invoice to the bank, you apply for foreign exchange.
So the bank now transfer that money for you.
The bank transfer the 3 million for you legitimately. But the guy over there who is collecting the money is taking only 750. Then you may have an agreement, okay, take 750, collect commission of 250, give me back 2 million. That is legitimate. Right? And some of the time, where the trick here is this: the same guy that is issuing invoice abroad is the same person that is receiving the invoice in Nigeria. So you see that there is a network. Somebody has an offshore business. You see some of them now, like Victor's and all that. Those are the kind of thing they were doing. Like all these guys, maybe probably about Tudeko who had to do Nadeko route and all that. This is what they do. They have a company offshore who is probably a different entity, but it's not the same. It's not a different entity. They register that business. Their name may not be on the board because they also understand that one day, Babu may boss. You can't trace this to them, but they are working together, and they do it. They process a normal transaction. You raise invoice, you make inquiry, you do everything. There are documentation. There are fax messages. So, of course, it is messy. It's a messy situation. So most of those there are two aspects to me. Though the case of Ponzi schemes like Olegbani, there is the element of greed.
Of course, we know it is greed, but the thing is that how do the perpetrators eventually, how do they move their proceeds around? That's what I'm trying to question.
I've given you two examples now. One internally, one externally. Except you are not convinced about my example.
Yeah, I mean, I am. I'm saying that was my purpose of raising the question.
So they
Um,
do this and they do it very neatly. And some kind is okay. Uh, they want to import equipment, genuine equipment. Some is okay, I want to go through a third party. So, and there's over invoicing. Just like the way of subsidy. People
hmm.
come, they just bring document to customer and they stamp for things that were never imported at all. Before
Hmm.
the removal of subsidy, they say we were using how many liter per day. Then when they remove subsidies, we discover that we are not using up to 25% of what they say we were using.
So Nigeria was just paying a few
We are
people in
paying
the name of
fake
subsidy.
money, and it is free money. And these people, they became greedier and they have more money, they have power, they can even topple government
Yep.
because it's free money. It's the
Hmm.
same thing. This thing is just like, okay, budget. Government is budgeted for something. I remember in those days, in the old Ondo state, a community, one of the area, I mean, but not necessarily from Ekiti now, went to Akure then to complain about the road to their community. That the road has not been tarred, the road has been under disrepair. They said the director asked them to go and bring the file. And they brought the file. I said, "Ah, this road was completed 2 years ago." And the guy said, "Which road? Come out, come and see our car outside. We just drove through that road now. Very dusty. In the last 5 years, not even one tipper of sand has been dropped on that road. Nobody, we have not seen anybody in the last 5 years to come and do. Government has not come to do any work on that road. But
Hmm.
the file is saying the road was completed 2 years ago.
So the question then is, do you think organizations, including maybe CBN monitoring department, do you think, and other government parastatals, do you think they are supposed to have a monitoring mechanism that oversees and cross checks to say, okay, for instance, in CBN, if they find out that, okay, you move so amount of money, large sum of money, that it should be flagged ordinarily, and then some people should be sent to investigate it and find out, okay, there's no problem. Because if I have my own personal, I remember sometimes, well, in my own personal account, say, if I'm moving small money like 100,000 or 200,000, maybe in the past anyway, not now, you find out that some of them will not even go through because they say, okay, it is unusual. It's unusual that you've
Usual
not moved, you're
transaction.
not unusual transaction. So how does that happen in some of these big people's account? And
If you want me to be not to be economical with the truth,
please,
we run a compromised society. Every system is compromised. That's the hard truth.
hmm,
You see, when when they started this due process and everybody was celebrating it, I was still in Nigeria and I said, "Look, this doesn't make sense to me." That I've never been a prophet of doom, but I know this is. Oh, check by, satisfied by, approved by. I said, what you are
hmm.
just doing is like you are widening the net of corruption. At every of those
So those guys their hands will be greased.
check by that you drop something as check by, vet by you drop something, approved by, verified by, every by table there is something that goes. You are just, I mean, I remember if you can recollect, even
It's just
when
increasing
they
the amount of money they need to steal to settle
exactly
those
when
people.
they accuse, I remember Fashola Governor Fashola Babatunde that time. that they spend about how many million on website. And people say, holy Moses. What did he say? Say it went through due process. So you said 3 people should check it. 3 people check it. And so far there is
And they say it's
agreement.
okay.
And so far there's agreement. The thing is like, okay, this how much my own inside. And there's no argument. You agree on what is your own. On each desk, on each bus stop. There are inspections. Even there are internal controls in the bank, in each bank. There ought to be internal control that we will flag up this thing even before the central bank. So why are they not detecting this? Why are they not being flagged? You are muted or you step away. So when the system is compromised, you can't get the ideal. You can't get the ideal situation.
I can hear you. Please continue.
So you cannot get an ideal situation. I will not say all of them are devils, but even again, if you want to stick your neck out, and you want to be the angel, you know there are risks, there are consequences for trying to be an angel in hell. I'm not saying Nigeria is hell, I'm just using that figuratively. So I would there should be angels in hell, fallen angels are in hell anyway. So maybe that was not a good example. So yes, there are all these units, there are investigators, there are here and there. There are, I mean, even big banks, they are supposed to be uh, undercover agents in these banks who can work in any department, who gather intelligence, financial intelligence for government. You don't know them. We don't know them. But when everybody is compromised, what do you do? And those that are not compromised, they are being killed. There's so many internal auditors that are being killed because they refuse to compromise. I've worked somewhere before. It's only God that saved me. They said they wanted to send Ayaz Asin to me. They said somebody said it jokingly. I didn't hear it until I left the place. And I was asking, so some somebody told you they wanted to kill me. You thought it was joking. And what was my accusation? What did I do wrong? What I did wrong was I did not compromise. I did not sign things I'm not supposed to sign. I didn't allow them to shop, to use street language. I don't allow them work. I'm not saying this to utilize myself, to praise myself, but I tell you, those are the consequences of people who don't compromise. And there are very few who don't compromise. And many of those have lost their lives. I know people who were brutally murdered because they did not compromise. Those who don't want to die, we say, look, we live to fight another day. Yes, those facilities are there. I can tell you for free that if you look at even the financial guidelines, which we call general order, or what you call, I think that's what they call it, that we inherited from the colonialists, it is almost impossible for a single individual to be able to steal government money because of the control. Yep. And most of this control we have adapted. But that's what we call management overrides in accounting. When management begin to override controls, those below them, they will also leverage on it. Again, given the principle of animal kinule again, people, if you see your boss stealing, what moral concern do you have not to steal? Again, the boss will not steal without using you still use the small guy to carry the loot. You remember the case of Tawa Balogun anyway? If you, I don't know whether you remember it. It's because that was he punished one of his boys who was helping with the loot, and the guy said, you punish me because of this thing. Okay, let's cuckoo spill the beans. Now
So, so
we learned from the grapevine that even all the houses that were seized from our logo, they eventually gave him back. He got it back later. He got them back later. So, yes, CBN has the special directorate or whatever they call it, but I did not compromise.
So the question that I want to ask, I don't know, it maybe might sound naive or something, and but I would ask anyway, and that is, how can we build an egalitarian society out of what we currently have? A society that is upright, a society where people do what is expected of them, regardless um, of who who is supposed to benefit from them doing what is right.
I don't know, the term egalitarianism talks more about equality.
Yeah, so because
But
see,
wait, I'm trying to. You ask the question. I'm
okay,
trying to
okay,
unpack the question.
okay.
Nigeria has never been an egalitarian society. It has never been. We have been feudalistic. We have had price on level of oligarchy. Actually, Nigerian society is hierarchical. You know, we believe in hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling, I think, I think my wife was telling about 2 weeks ago. That I was once in a place and somebody said he wants to go to the washroom toilet, we call it in Nigeria, that I should give him key to the senior staff toilet. I told him, I said, Oga, we have male and female toilets. There's no senior staff toilet there. You won't use or you know what use. If the thing never catch you, may I bring the key? Because we have only two. One male and one female. No senior staff toilet. Say, yes, we don't have senior staff toilet. We have only male and female. Should I bring the key? I asked him politely. He said I should bring the key. He said, but I mean, there should be senior staff toilet. I said, unfortunately, we don't have. That's hierarchy. You go to, even for places like NNPC, you go to their canteen. You have staff canteen, you have senior, you have management staff canteen, senior staff canteen, and junior staff canteen.
Yep.
That is our society. Though we say Akparoko Gajukalo, Avelituba Gorebe, Ironi is fallacy.
Everybody low.
Everybody cannot Gorebe, unfortunately. We have an hierarchical society.
A classism. Classism is a big deal.
Well, we will not agree it's classism because we will say classism is foreign. It's foreign. I want to agree with that, but that's why I'm deliberately using the word hierarchical.
Okay.
For instance, now, if me and you and Michael are in a room in Nigeria today, and somebody dash us 15 oranges, we are 3, right? In egalitarian society, we are supposed to share it 5-5, is it not?
5-5. Yes.
Okay. You are in the middle. I'm the senior. Will you have the boldness to give me only 5? No, answer.
It's not possible.
First, you will give Michael 3. Out of that, they take your own 3. So out of that, it will not remain 12. You will not be planning. This 12. How much make I give to Baba? I mean, about no need this thing now. If I'm the one, I don't worry. You can give me 5, and you will take 7. But if you know this guy may not agree, you will reluctantly give me 7
Yes.
and take 5.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell, well, maybe I don't mind if you want to give some to your boy. So that's some to your boy. Say if care is not taking, you want to collect 2 or 3. I say take.
Yeah.
If I say take, I don't actually need it that much. Take some. You will collect 3. That 3 you will add it to your own 5. You won't give back anything to market that you have already given 3. That
Mm,
is how our society runs.
mm. And unfortunately, people even take what they don't necessarily need.
That's what
You
I'm
know.
saying. No,
You see,
that is not just what you don't need, also what you can afford.
yeah.
As an example of
Exactly.
okay, let me give you another
That.
example of what happened in a typical school in Nigeria. We have school, 1 principal, 2 vice principal, let's say 50 staff.
Give me 1 second, sir. Continue talking.
Okay.
Let me turn on my generator.
Okay. And you are giving 3 bags of rice to share for that school. The principal will take 1 bag. The 2 vice principal will take a bag, sharing it half. So the remaining 1 bag will go to the remaining 50 staff. This is how we run Nigeria. This is hierarchical way we operate. So when we talk of egalitarian, it is when we are doing classroom discussion. But in the real running and management of that our society, there's nothing egalitarian about it. Again, over time now, the thing seems to be getting worse that we don't even understand what is called the concept of common good. Common good is like you are taking a decision that will benefit the majority of the people most of the time. But we don't do that any longer. So we want to protect the rich, the powerful. Now, when you talk about egalitarian society, if somebody stole goat and you take him to the magistrate court, there's likelihood that he will go to jail for 3 months for stealing goat.
Mm.
Okay, we are hearing that somebody stole allegedly 90 billion. I still don't believe that figure is so much, or 80 billion. They've
Mm.
arrested him. That arrest, they arrest him. They won't call him common criminal like they will normally call somebody a police station.
They will not put him in the worst of the
No,
prisons or
this guy
cells.
is a VIP criminal. Me, they say this is get level now. So even the IPO now will be thinking that how
He wants to change his car.
we will be telling him that okay, you feel help us. I mean, my children's school fees due.
Oh man.
Our society is not. I'm not sure is structured towards anything egalitarianism. We have never had it.
Yeah, I know. So what I'm saying is that with what we have now, is it possible for us to probably be able to build an egalitarian society? Where people would be mindful, because if we don't do it deliberately, it will never happen. Because and I think that is what is contributing to the amount of criminality, especially stealing. The kind of criminality that happens mostly in Nigeria is stealing. It's people wanting to amass more wealth and more wealth. They want to impress
Amass
their
what
neighbor. They want to show that they are
they
doing
don't
better
need.
than they.
Okay,
Yeah. So,
if you are going to have a egalitarian society,
mm,
let's look at our educational system. Look at student president in a typical institution in Nigeria.
Mm.
Look at the way you contest and win and as a SUG president. Look
Mm-hmm.
at the lifestyle you will live on campus.
Yeah.
Now they have PA, they have no special advisor. Do you know that this student, by virtue of that position, have special advisors, other students too,
Mm.
who who when they are going out together will carry their phone for them. So when you have people, undergraduates that are living this lifestyle, who is going to champion the egalitarian society you are thinking about? You don't expect us, those of us who are at 60 or 70 to champion that. It's young people that champion the the reverse trajectory of the society.
Yeah, it's because everybody one way or another is eroded into the. I mean, we are recruited into the system.
Who is recruiting you?
People are recruited from childhood, if possible. The society. I mean, it is what it is. See, okay, let me paint a picture. If just like you make the example of maybe you and I and Michael are in a room. The same way in the house, you see old people who don't even need red meat anymore. Who normally shouldn't be eating red meat anymore. I'm talking about a typical Yoruba household. Okay? And then there's a red meat to be shared on the table. Normally, if there is five of them, just like you said, if there is five of them, the old man is supposed to probably even say, just cut one into two and give me the small part of it, because his body doesn't even need it. And then give the youngest person whose system can still easily consume and break them down. But naturally, what we will do is to give the old man maybe two or three, and then the remaining people who are younger will be battling with the remaining ones. So everybody is
Yeah,
aggravated.
because we don't want you to teach
To not
them how
become
to
that
be
old
stealing.
man.
We don't want to
Sir?
teach them to become thief. Ah, if I call one lole. We don't want to
But,
teach them.
but what we are doing psychologically, and I think a lot of people are not even
Yeah,
intelligent enough to be aware of the consequence. I'm sorry saying intelligent enough, but the truth is that what we are doing is to create a system, a society where everybody is thinking like that. So you want to kill the old people, or to get rid of them, or you also want to be like them. You want
when
to,
you when
when
you
I get
grow,
old, when I
when
get
I
old,
grow,
when I grow old,
I'll be
I want
like
to be
you.
like you. Yeah, I have
Yeah,
seen in work environments, sir. I've seen a work environment where you see people who can buy things for themselves, things that they can buy for them. The company will buy it for them as management staff. But the people on the below who actually need it, who cannot afford to buy it themselves, they will not buy it for them. They will not give it to them, but they give it to people who are already earning enough to be able to. I don't know if that is how it is everywhere else, in
no,
the
I
world,
just gave you
but
an
I think
example of a typical
it's
school
just
now.
significantly too much around here.
Yeah, that's why it started. It started from home, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
You see, there are a lot of, I mean, those things are changing. I mean, we have to give credit to younger generations. In our generation, many of us didn't like it, but we lived through it. And unfortunately, many of us try to, when we grew up, it's okay, you wanted to do the same thing. Um, that's where it started. And that's why I use the word beginning. Hierarchical, we are a hierarchical society. Hierarchy and egalitarian, they don't go together.
Okay, so do you think feudal system, which we used to practice, which our forefathers used to practice, do you think it breeds what we currently have?
That was the foundation.
So, but the truth is that democracy is also not too much faring well in this environment as well.
It's democracy. I think for me, I think we over exaggerate democracy.
Yeah, you have been
Democracy,
saying it a lot,
democracy is
and
actually propelled by oligarchy.
oh really?
Yeah, Democracy, as it's being practiced, is propelled by oligarchy. There are fewer people taking decision on behalf of the people. They call
Mm.
it, legally call it caucus.
Well, but that's why theoretically, it's supposed to be that the majority would elect somebody, or they would elect a leader who is supposedly speaking on their behalf, right?
Are they
So
doing
it
that?
means if I am representing my constituency, then I'm speaking on behalf of my constituency. So it is still believed that it is the voice of the majority, that I'm supposed to go home and liaise with people in my constituency and then speak on their behalf.
But in practice, not so.
Exactly.
Especially in Nigeria democracy, you see embedded oligarchy. And
Mhm.
that is why everybody is just need to be part of that oligarchy, the real decision makers.
Yeah, but you know that there are younger people. I mean, I've seen on social media who are even saying that they want maybe military kind of government right now, whereby somebody is just there making the decision, and anybody. But I think Nigerians are confused when you look at Twitter sometimes.
No, we are not.
Especially people
We
are
are not.
talking.
I don't think we are confused. We are frustrated. No, it's not confusion. It's a case
Okay.
of, okay. We practiced democracy for 25 years now, going to 25
Hmm.
years. Actually, 25
Yeah.
years. What is the outcome? Things seem to be getting worse. And when you
It
see
has
the way
never
it's
been
been
better.
practiced,
It
yeah,
has never been better.
when you see, you will see in what we are doing, you will see oligarchy in it, the rule of
Mm.
the few.
So the few, yeah.
So what they do now, they come to the feed and no say we'll hold the election and we legitimize that oligarchy.
Mm. We give them legitimacy to do what they want to
We give
do.
them legitimacy to do what they do. That is why you talk about godfatherism.
Mm.
There are some places you cannot win election except the godfathers endorse you.
Yeah, true.
How many of them? This is oligarchy.
But it happens in developed democracy too.
It's done Italy. At least if you vote here, we just had an election on Monday here in Canada.
And
And
did your party win?
in my constituency, yes. Overall, no.
Oh, okay.
We missed the mark narrowly, kind of.
Oh, okay. I hope it's not the Trump effect.
I think it is. Because our leaders, I wrote an article on Facebook, which I interrogate independent candidates. Okay, this is what happened. The leader of the party in his constituency, 91 people contested, 91 names
Wow.
on the ballot.
Wow.
And on that ballot, there's supposed to be five, around five. But 91, why? Because the constitution allows independent candidates to contest.
Okay.
And most of the people that are contested as independent, they belong to the same party with them.
Wow.
So he came second.
Well.
I wrote, maybe I'll forward the article to you if you have not read it on. It seems you are not too active on Facebook now.
No,
I even
I'm
said
not.
you can publish it on Opinion Share anyway. So
Okay.
this is everywhere they have their issue. But
Mm.
here, you know that when you vote, you campaign, you vote. Two things make this thing work. You are not spending your money to run for office. You raise money through donations,
Mm.
which is tax deductible. So
Mm.
there is a public buying into it. And when people go to vote, the vote counts. You know that
Okay.
if you vote, your vote is valid and it will count. That
Okay.
has been achieved here. So rather than using brutal something that they will do in Nigeria to rig the election, they sponsor people to contest as independents. Even in my riding, it happened in my riding because of the nomination. The people that came out as independent, I know them. I know the guy that was eventually nominated. When the guy was nominated, the guy that were not pleased with him, with that they were not nominated, they decided to contest as
As
independent
independence.
candidate. That that guy was just lucky because out of the other three independents, the on the ballot would have been four here. There were now like seven because three people came as independent. And guess what? Those three that came, they came from this party.
Wow.
And they all have the same base.
So they are
But
not sharing
luckily,
it among themselves.
but the guy seems to have a very strong because the same base, the four of them, they were drawing strength from the same base. But this guy, I guess he was either lucky or he did a good homework. He was still able to skate through. Otherwise, he would have lost to the second rival.
Wow.
So this is
Anyway,
what ahead.
I think we will have to close because we spent 1 hour.
We
It's been
didn't
an
know that it's
interesting.
only two of us that we will spend this long.
Yeah, I normally if it is two of us, we just probably
Do
do
30
even
minutes.
in most cases less than 1 hour, but we've done over an hour now. So it's been interesting, and well, I wish this doesn't happen in Nigeria, that we don't have to, continue to embarrass ourselves like this. Not only are people stealing money that's supposed to go into people's education. I heard yesterday that maybe we might talk about it in subsequent show. Um, and when we have more information or more facts, I learned that there is serious corruption happening in the NEL fund, the federal government NEL fund. The fund, the scholar, I mean, is it loan? The loan
The loan,
for
yeah,
university.
I read something about that too. But I'm trying to see interrogate that. Who is
Yeah,
How does it happen? Is it the institution that are diverting the money or the government agency?
I think
Because
it's a culmination of the school heads or school leaders and the organization, the federal government organization, and perhaps even their banking. Anyway, we will do some research and probably see, because since we are all passionate about education, definitely
yeah,
that would not miss our radar.
it should not at all.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
All
think
right.
hopefully by next Saturday we should also have Timmy at least.
Yes, yes, yes.
If other
I'm sure
guys are not
Timmy
around.
is really interested in all of that. I think all of us are passionate about education anyway. So,
Yeah, well, we too we have
um,
failed though. We did not run our NGO. We
well,
mobilized people and we did not continue.
well,
Uh,
I don't know what to say, sir.
and maybe we don't say any other thing in there. Sorry for bringing our dirty learning
Yeah,
to the open.
it's okay. It's okay. We
Yeah,
are.
I
It's
feel I feel
we are not
personally
perfect.
indicted. I feel personally indicted by that, by our inactions.
I guess so.
Mm.
All right, viewers, thank you for joining us today. It's been a very interesting one. It's opinion sharers, and we'll be here again next week Saturday, 5 p.m. Nigerian time. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you. Please do share and invite those who might be interested in joining us to reach out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Do have a pleasant weekend. Thank
Yeah.
you, sir, for
Goodbye,
your time.
everybody. Well, we thank God.